Analysis on all of those market moves. We're joined by Chris Weston from IG in Melbourne. Chris, great to see you there. Yeah, what do you think of the US markets? They're more fresh records, but not really a lot going on overnight.
Yeah, it's a bit of a yawn, to be honest. I mean, it was the same in the Treasury market as well. The 10-year yield pretty much unchanged at 248. And that new benchmark now, I suppose the mean in that market is the 250 level now. So that's really the line in the sand that everyone's looking at. Of course, as you mentioned, there some disappointing earnings coming from McDonald's. Gannett on the media side of things did a disappointing print ad side of things. But overall, the earnings season is pretty good. We've got a big night tonight ahead of us. Apple, of course, very much front and centre. That comes out after market. We're looking for about 730 on the EPS line, I think 35 billion on the revenue line. Obviously some fantastic iPhone sales, some of it I think in the third quarter about 26 million. It's not the stock that it was. There used to be a mantra that went as goes Apple, as goes the market. Those days are well and truly behind us. People are still looking to buy the dips towards that sort of $400 share price at the moment, but it has had a big underperformance. But that's going to be the one everyone talks about after market tomorrow, and we'll probably be talking about it pre-market this time tomorrow as well. But there's some other big names to look out for. UPS, I think, who have already pre-guided, and Freeport-McMoRan, obviously one of the world's biggest copper plays there. So there's plenty to look out for. I mean, earnings thus far have been okay. We've seen reasonable EPS growth, and actually what's also incredible is that we've seen some reasonable revenue growth, about 4% as well against the PCP. So that's been quite good. But overall in the equity market, pretty quiet ranges. The currency market was really all about dollar selling again, a little bit of yen buying, and we should see euro dollar, sterling dollar pushing up modestly, and Australian dollar pushing up nicely as that gold price moved up as well.
Now, you mentioned the sterling. I was joking before that the royal baby, the Prince of Cambridge, wasn't a market-moving event, but perhaps it was.
No, it wasn't at all. I mean, I think the official time it was born was 1:24 our time. Sterling's up a massive 6 pips from that time. Euro dollar and everything else seems to be moving pretty much in line. The market didn't hear about it, or certainly the public didn't hear about it until about 5:30 in the morning, and again it's really unchanged from there. So there is the prospect, I suppose, that this event does buoy the economy in the US, in the UK. The economy domestically has been improving, hence why we did see the MPC vote 9-0 to increase the stimulus. The domestic economy, the service side of things, seems to be doing quite nicely. But the external side of things is still quite hazy in the UK at the moment, and that's why you can't be overly bullish on cable. But I think if you're looking for things like merchandise sales, which came when we saw the royal wedding, and things like the Olympics, for example, that probably comes when we actually get a name for the baby. Then people can start putting faces and names on mugs and bits and pieces. But I think no real change in cable on the back of this.
All right, mine on order, of course. ASX 200, what's your opening call?
Yeah, we've got 5,012, so that's right on the resistance level. We got up to 5,026 yesterday, couldn't hold that level, and we came back as Japan and China started selling off. It looks like we're going to open at that level at the moment. That's a big retracement level of the big sell-off we saw recently. So, a daily close, if we can get at 4:10 above 5,012, be very good for some of the momentum players. I think we'd see a pretty quick snap rally up to about 5,100 if we do see a daily close above that level. It's about gold stocks today. They're going to do very nicely indeed. They did in the US. Oil and gas stocks probably underperform a touch. It does look like WTI and Brent prices are looking to pull back slightly in the short term. The sector on the S&P was one of the worst performers, although it was only down 0.3%, so you really can't see too much in the negative situation. But the price of WTI down about 1.5% since yesterday's cash close. Fortescue will be very much in focus today, given it's got its production numbers, although I think it has pre-guided on June 20th. Stock's up about 50 cents from those production numbers as well. So I don't expect Fortescue's production numbers today to really hit home. As I say, I think we know most of the details there, but they should come out probably after market, after the open there. And of course Japan's very much in focus. That's really what our market's trading on intraday, is just China, and we're looking for a pretty flat open there. But I think it's going to be a day of bit of support in the banks. No real reason to be selling today. And most of the strength will be coming again from the gold stocks, which have had a really strong run over the last 5 days or so.
Just on gold that you mentioned there, up 3% overnight, continuing that rally of nearly 7% over the past couple of weeks. What are you thinking? I mean, have the bulls got it right?
Well, there's a lot of short covering coming through. I mean, it had a really strong fall. I think if you're actually looking at the gains, a lot of it took place yesterday. So we had a lot of good news being priced into our stocks yesterday. If you look at the price of gold from where we closed, this now needs to be priced into the gold stocks and open. That's up about 1% higher. So you can have a look at the change on the day in silver and gold and say, well, that's great for our gold stocks. But we've got to remember that a lot of that was priced into our day yesterday. So we're up about $14 from yesterday's cash close. But that's still I still believe we're going to see some further short covering coming through. I think the market's becoming more comfortable with the tapering exercise, to be honest. I think we're seeing that in the bond market. I think we're seeing that in the equity market. You know, the talk of tapering now is not such a really risk-off negative event. We know that the market's fully separated the idea between an early tapering and a rise in the Fed funds rate, and I think that's supportive of gold as well. We're not going to see you know, the Fed funds rate being put up probably until the back end of 2015, if not early 2016. That's supportive. We've seen a lot of short covering coming through. A lot of physical buying, although it's not at the same sort of levels we saw this time last year from the Indians and the Chinese. And I think there's a lot of stuff going behind the scenes, to be honest, Bridie, that we just don't hear about. There's stuff in the warehousing and bits and pieces there as well, which, yeah, some people have thrown some question marks around, but certainly I think there's some bits and pieces that just doesn't get reported in, and certainly I think that's having a big effect on gold at the moment. But we did see a big technical breakout yesterday. 1300's been a ceiling on the market for a month or so. We broke through the recent downtrend as well, so a bit of technical buying. As soon as it broke that 1300 level, we saw a lot of physical stops going off in the futures market, and that really took it higher.
All right, Chris, thank you so much for that. We'll talk to you through this session there. I'll let you